Oh, you watching? Here, let me put the screensaver on. Watch screensaver. I just put something that says starting momentarily.
I'm gonna maybe make like a
5 minute.
7 minute.
We could do a 2-3 one if you want.
Yeah, but I think I want to wait for Shepherd to actually be in the.
Is he the only one today?
Yeah. Would your dad?
I think he's joking. I don't think he's
No man.
Huh?
No.
I was legit offended.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't like offended, but he was like, oh, I guess I don't really. My services aren't needed here, so I guess I'll just go to Zen. But no, I don't think he's like feeling sour about it.
No, of course.
The way
That's not the habit.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'll make a quick.
Do what you gotta do, bro.
Yeah,
It's fine.
5 minute announcement. And once he comes, we'll speak.
know where he is speaking? Oh, so he is speaking somewhere today. So it might be Jafar maybe.
Silly.
I thought maybe I was gonna come to see Shaykh. Huh?
Yeah, probably have, but I don't know. Oh, you said it's hiding. Do you know what it is? Do you know what the people call this? Do you know what it is? Yeah, I know what they are. I just know. So like this guy has, you know, he's not oh, you know what?
That's a provoke kind of enough. Like you're that's it.
He looks like the turkey even more. Yeah, he does. I saw him. He's the World Cup final. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, in Spanish they say goal.
Yeah, that's cool. Is that cool? Yeah, that's cool. Sorry, you just got here. No, it's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Try to time it.
Yeah, man.
Go there and then.
Yeah, man. I know you're a busy guy.
No. What I'm gonna do is, I don't know if you wanted to see it.
No. I believe I was there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's a nice nap. We were up like 5.
That's awesome.
We were all talking.
Yeah. He's got the Kadara edition, I think, tonight.
He has MFI.
MFI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's somewhere in Jersey.
Yeah.
Nice. So he flew from here to Newark. There's a job back there. Okay. It's not that far.
Yeah.
Alright, let me start getting some pictures. Yeah, no worries. Take your time.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salawat Muhammad wa just like last night, tonight, inshallah, we'll have some recitations, and of course, we'll have another lecture with our visiting scholar, Shaykh Jafar Muhibullah, who's visiting us from the Austin, Texas community. And we are very happy to have him with us this whole weekend. We're very honored to learn from him, and we had a very good lecture from him yesterday, and inshallah we look forward to hearing more about his concept of Islamic economics that he's going to be talking about today as well. Before we get started with the recitation of the Holy Quran to begin our program, just a quick reminder that tomorrow we will also have a program. That program will be a majlis. Starting with Salatul Maghrib, we'll have dinner, and then we'll have the majlis for Sayyidah Zainab, Salam Alayha. So for those of you who can make it, please come for that program as well. And Shaykh Jafar will also provide the lecture for the majlis as well. Salawat Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So now I'd like to request Brother Jafar al-Mansur to come forward to begin our program with the recitation of the Holy Quran. Salawat Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر ما ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا حسير. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير. فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Jazakallah, Brother Jafar. Thank you again for such a lovely recitation of the Holy Quran. Next, we'll move on to our recitation program. We're very honored to have a very close brother of many of us here, Brother Shaykh, who is going to be providing some poetry recitation for us tonight. So I please, without further ado, please request Brother Shaykh to come forward to begin his recitation. Salawat Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Hey Gary!
आप सबको विलादत इमाम अली मोहम्मद मुबारक हो। एक सलात पढ़ दीजिए मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद पर।
अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला جہاں میں ثانی قرآن کوئی کتاب نہیں، جہاں میں ثانی قرآن کوئی کتاب نہیں، علی بھی ایک ہے ان کا کوئی جواب نہیں، علی بھی ایک ہے ان کا کوئی جواب نہیں، لحد میں پھیل گیا بت رب کا جلوہ، خدا کا شکر ہے مٹی میری خراب نہیں، خدا کا شکر ہے مٹی میری خراب نہیں۔ ایک صلوات پڑھے محمد والے محمد، اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ ایک اور صلوات پڑھ دیجیے محمد والے محمد پر، اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ ہو گیا کعبے میں روشن، ہو گیا کعبے میں روشن، نور حیدر ہو گیا کعبے میں روشن، نور حیدر ہو گیا، بت کدا ہوتا تھا جو اللہ کا گھر ہو گیا کعبے میں روشن، اور گھر کا مالک آ گیا، کعبہ خوشی سے کھل اٹھا، گھر کا مالک آ گیا، کعبہ خوشی سے کھل اٹھا، مسکرایا اس قدر دیوار میں در ہو گیا، نفس کے بدلے خدا نے اپنی مرضی بیچ دی، نفس کے بدلے خدا نے اپنی مرضی بیچ دی، اس طرح ہجرت کی سب شب سودا برابر ہو گیا کعبے میں روشن، اور بھاگنے والے نبی کو چھوڑ کر میدان سے، بھاگنے والے نبی کو چھوڑ کر میدان سے، تو خلانت حشر تک تیرا مقدر ہو گیا کعبے میں روشن۔ ایک صلوات پڑھ دیجیے محمد والے محمد، اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ نام علی تھا خطرہ جہاں جان کے لیے، نام علی تھا خطرہ جہاں جان کے لیے، اور نام علی تھا خطرہ جہاں جان کے لیے، ہم نے علی کے نام وہی جان کے لیے، ہم نے علی کے نام وہی جان کے لیے، اور اس واسطے علی کو بنایا نبی کے بعد، اس واسطے علی کو بنایا نبی کے بعد، جزدان بھی تو چاہیے قرآن کے لیے، جزدان بھی تو چاہیے قرآن کے لیے، اور کچھ لوگ خم میں رکنا نہیں چاہتے تھے، پر کچھ لوگ خم میں رکنا نہیں چاہتے تھے، پر ٹھہرے ہوئے تھے کیا کرے پالان کے لیے، ٹھہرے ہوئے تھے کیا کرے پالان کے لیے۔ وہ شعر دیکھیے گا کہ تربت میں ہو زیارت مولا کائنات، تربت میں ہو زیارت مولا کائنات، ہم لوگ مر رہے ہیں اس ارمان کے لیے، ہم لوگ مر رہے ہیں اس ارمان کے لیے، اور اجدر کو چیر کر یہ کہا مرتضیٰ نے بس، اجدر کو چیر کر یہ کہا مرتضیٰ نے بس، عشق علی ہے کافی، عشق علی ہے نسل کی پہچان کے لیے، عشق علی ہے نسل کی پہچان کے لیے، اور مولا علی علی میرا آقا علی علی کافی ہے زین یہ میری پہچان کے لیے، کافی ہے زین یہ میری پہچان کے لیے، نعرے محمد والے
One more loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Jazakallah, thank you so much, Brother Shaykh, for your beautiful recitations. Thank you. Next, we'd like to please call upon Brother Ali Abbas Hassan to come forward and provide some of his own recitation. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا Ali. When I see your shine, I know that I'm home. You're the King of Kings, not just your throne. When I see your shine, I know that I'm home. You're the King of Kings, not just your throne. With you by my side, I'm never alone. With you by my side, I'm never alone. Walking Quran Ali in the Adhan Ali. Walking Quran Ali in the Adhan Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Ana hubbi Ali wa gharami Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Ana hubbi Ali wa gharami Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. On the love of your life, when I was raised, I was born in your name. I heard praise on the love of your life. When I was raised, I was born in your name. I heard praise in Ghadir. By you my heart was saved. In Ghadir, by you my heart was saved. From my father Ali and my mother Ali. From my father Ali and my mother Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Ana hubbi Ali wa gharami Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Ana hubbi Ali wa gharami Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. All our hearts your love struggle to contain. To describe your words can't explain. All our hearts your love struggle to contain. To describe your words can't explain. Your mercy we seek, Ya Abul Hasanain. Your mercy we seek, Ya Abul Hasanain. Who at Khaybar Ali, only Haydar Ali. Who at Khaybar Ali, only Haydar Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Ana hubbi Ali wa gharami Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Ana hubbi Ali wa gharami Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Mawla Ali, Mawla Ali. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allah's wali is Ali, Ali. The Prophet's wasi is Ali, Ali. Champion of Khaybar, Ali, Ali. Labbaik ya Haydar, Ali, Ali. Labbaik ya Haydar, Ali, Ali. The Prophet calls out Ali, Ali. The walls will echo Ali, Ali. Our hearts are beating Ali, Ali. Tyrants retreating Ali, Ali. Champion of Khaybar Ali, Ali. Labbaik ya Haydar Ali, Ali. Labbaik ya Haydar Ali, Ali. The sun, the moon are Ali, Ali. The stars, the skies are Ali, Ali. The first, the last is Ali, Ali. The straightest path is Ali, Ali. Champion of Khaybar Ali, Ali. Labbaik ya Haydar Ali, Ali. Labbaik ya Haydar Ali, Ali. Muhammad's brother Ali, Ali. And like no other Ali, Ali. Ya Shah-e Marda Ali, Ali. Ya Sher-e Yazda Ali, Ali. Champion of Khaybar Ali, Ali. Labbaik ya Haydar Ali, Ali. لبيك يا حيدر علي علي لبيك يا حيدر علي علي لبيك يا حيدر علي علي صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
One more loud salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Jazakallah, thank you again, Brother Abbas, for your recitations. And next, we'd like to please proceed with our lecture portion of our celebration this evening. So I'd like to please request Shaykh Jafar Muhibullah to come forward, take the member, and we'll begin the lecture for tonight. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
And for the well-being of the community, another salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
And for the hastening reappearance of Imam and Zaman, and even louder salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم به نستعين. الحمد لله الذي جعل الحمد مفتاحا لذكره وسببا للمزيد من فضله ودليلا على آلائه وعظمته، ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين، أرواحنا له فداء. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته جميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات. First and foremost, I congratulate all of you on the auspicious occasion which we are celebrating or continuing to celebrate, and that is the Waladat, the birthday of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi afdal salatu wassalam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
And as promised, we will continue the discussion on Islamic economics. But as I said, from the perspective of what is the heart of Islamic economics, beyond the numbers, beyond maybe the theory of it, but what is at the core, what is at the heart of Islamic economics, and how do we develop this, and first and foremost, understand Islamic economics to change the mindset of how we work and how we operate not only as an individual, but as a collective, as a ummah. One of the reasons also why this is important, as we mentioned, and I indicated this actually last Muharram. And it's a very interesting perspective when we look at globally one of the major causes of death. Of course, cancer is like really high risk, but some have assessed that after cancer, one of the major causes of death is malnutrition. And we think, subhanAllah, that malnutrition after cancer is one of the biggest causes of death. And malnutrition, even here in America, we say this is the first world, it's a real problem. It's not something that, oh, well, it's just happening in the third world, but it's also happening here as well. One also aspect about malnutrition, I guess maybe some of the doctors, they can correct me on this, but even if a person says, okay, well, some people may have some wealth, some money, but if they don't have enough money to eat what is proper, what is actually healthy for them, then what are they eating? They're eating junk. Their bodies are not getting the nutrition that it actually needs. So then it becomes a problem of malnutrition, insufficient nutrition for the body. Then it's going to create all kinds of complications. So, and it's amazing, we may think that, oh, well, we quite often when we look at the news, we think, oh, well, violence is, it's on the top of that list. But in fact, when we look at this report, there's a report that it was done on a global scale, that the top killer was cancer, and after that, malnutrition. And why is this? And malnutrition, as I said, part of it has to do with education as well, because if people are eating junk, people are eating things that are not proper for them. But another aspect that has to deal with is also economics. And that aspect, as we mentioned, that part of Islamic economics, it depends on social justice. This aspect of, as human beings who live in a society, we have a responsibility for other individuals who are living in that society. We have a responsibility to make sure that, well, if they don't have enough to eat, that we provide that for them. This is one of the sunnahs of all of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdal salatu from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imam Zaman Jafar al-Sharif, that's. But of course, a little bit more clear in the lives of the Ahlul Bayt, because we can go to that aspect of Imam Zaman, just again, his oversight of this world and his care about the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even the du'as that Imam Zaman, Jafar al-Sharif, he makes for it, again, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But one of the traditions we see of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim wasalam is that they often took food to the poor, those who were in need. Even if those individuals didn't accept the wilayat of Ahlul Bayt, they still make sure that, again, this is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is also one of the reasons why understanding the heart of Islamic economics is very important. We gave an example last night that even some, they may think that, subhanAllah, you gave this example of Murshid Chaloui, that he's just giving away stuff. He's not really running his restaurant to make this huge profit. It's like, well, is this possible? How can we do this? I want to sum up, again, those three aspects that we mentioned as part of the heart of Islamic economics before I move on to the different points I want to make today, about three, 4 more points. Is that Iman and Taqwa, faith and consciousness, a sense of ethics with regards to our finances, our business, ethical economics, and that positive religious economics, if you want to sum it up into a characteristic that one must have in order to be able to live that example of Muhammad alayhi wasallam, just like we see in the example of Murshid Shadawi, he wasn't a ma'soom, and he followed that example. So what is it that we need to instill within ourselves to reach that point? One word, and that is to become zahid, ascetic, as at least in the translation we say, or a person is ascetic. But we want to understand the true meaning of one who is zahid, one who has this asceticism or zuhd, because quite often we may think of it, oh, well, a person who is ascetic, then he denounces the world, he doesn't want to have anything to do with it, but that's not the true meaning of a person who is zahid. Imam Ali alayhi wasallam in sermon number 32 of Muhibullah, and I'm not going to read through the sermon, I'm just going to point it out to you because you guys have homework. Go and read sermon number 32 of Muhibullah, where Imam Ali alayhi wasallam, he defines the meaning of someone who is zahid, someone who is an ascetic. So does that person, it's not the person who simply doesn't have anything. He says, yes, you may think that the person, oh, well, this person is poor, he doesn't have anything, and it seems that he's wearing the cloak of zuhd. And he appears with, oh, yes, I don't need these things. And Imam Ali says, no, don't let that fool you, because this person may be, because he categorizes some people, he says, some people, simply because they don't have, and because their situation or financial situation is not that strong, and because they don't have those opportunities before them, so then they're like, okay, well, I'll be like Zahid. People will like me, people will help me out as well. And, this is, but if they have that opportunity, you'll see that they will be no different than those other individuals who are trying to grab the dunya and be after this dunya. So what is that definition of a person who is Zahid? Is that person who is an ascetic, true ascetic, it says that this individual has no connection, as they say, ta'alluq, to those material things. Doesn't mean that he doesn't go after it. So the Zahid person can be someone who, yes, they obtain and achieve worldly gains, but they're not connected to it. Meaning that if they have it, they have it, alhamdulillah. If they don't have it, they're still, alhamdulillah. If they have it, they understand that, oh, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this to me as a responsibility, as a blessing, as a ni'mah, and I'm going to use it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they're not sad if it leaves them, nor are they overly happy if they have it. This is the Zahid. In other words, they don't seek the dunya at the expense of their akhirah. And this is one of the things Imam Ali he points out in this sermon. Is just some people, they seek this one. They seek to be wealthy or have some status and some position, but what is the cost of that? Their akhirah. Nor are they those individuals, and it explains it, I'm giving you just a summary of this, nor are they those individuals who are there saying that, oh, you know what, we're going to go after the akhirah at the sake or the expenses of what? Even their dunya, and not even fulfilling their responsibility in this dunya. That Zahid is that person that they understand, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me, alhamdulillah, is from the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's from the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given it to me, then I will use it in that way. Let me give you one very, very clear example. This is an amazing example. Why? Because I'll give you just paint a picture in your head. So someone who is wealthy in his pocket and poor in his wealth. You think, what does that mean? So how can a person be wealthy but poor at the same time? And poor and wealthy at the same time. Say the Qadi Tabatala and get it for you. hopefully you guys know who Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai is the teacher of Alama Tabatabai, teacher of Ayatul Bahjat, teacher of Alama Tahir. Many of the Urafa who have lived in our time, that he was their teacher in Najaf. And so Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai, one of the things that he mentioned, he says, look, my test in this world is poverty. He says, this is my test. I know that Allah is testing me with poverty. They said that, we read about his life, those who were his students, those who taught him, he said that Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai, he lived in a state of poverty. He said it was like mind-blowing that, how is it that he's living like this? He's living like this, and even at times, they said that when he would actually go to the fruit market to buy fruit. And this is probably about to write. Everything he did, there was a wisdom in it. So whenever he was buying something like lettuce, what he would do is that he wouldn't go for the good lettuce that's on the shelf. He would go for the lettuce that's kind of wilted and looks like, oh, this lettuce is, it's on its last leg, and if you buy it, you got to eat it now because tomorrow you won't be able to eat it. This is what he would buy. Someone like this, like, why are you getting this? You're already in a situation that your economics is not that good, but why are you getting this? He says, SubhanAllah. He says, this poor vendor, and he's also poor. He doesn't have much. But he also has to survive. He said, I'll take this and put it away. And somebody leaves, you can't even eat, but these few that I can eat, I'll eat that. That's sufficient. He was rich in his poverty. He said also one of the things, and this is narrated by his students, he said on the day of Jummah, that the poor, he's not wealthy. And at that time, we see, again, the Maraja of Taqlid at the time, Sayyid Khuli, Ayatul Khuli was at the time, Ayatul Khuli, when the Marjiyat of Ayatul Khuli was there, but not too many other people claimed that Marjiyat. It was centralized. There were others, but Ayatul Khuli is one of them. So they said that the poor used to come to the house of Sayyid Qadi on Jummah. And so Sayyid Qadi, he would be sitting, behind his desk. He had this little pillow that he would sit on, and so when the poor would come, they would stand before him. He would reach under his pillow and he would give them money. He would give them money. And so one of his students, he was sitting there, he was thinking, he was like, SubhanAllah, what happened? Someone gave Sayyid Qadi some khums money and he's distributing it, and he's saying, he's like, how come he doesn't use it for himself? He's in this situation, he uses it for himself. And so the student said that when he thought this, Sayyid Qadi, he got up, he says, I'm going to go redo my wudu. So he went to reach his wudu. He says, so the student lifted up the pillow. So there was nothing there. So he was like, okay, maybe he went to go get more money and to bring it back as well. So Sayyid Qadi came back, he sat down in the spot, then the next row of people, they start coming, and he's reaching under his pillow and giving them every Friday. And he gave them what they needed for that week and sustained them to the next week, to the next Friday they came. Again, in his state of poverty, which is this apparent poverty, but he was wealthy in his iman and his connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That whereby Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him and also gave him or entrusted him with this amanat, this blessing, this ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give to his creation. And he wasn't someone who was like, oh, well, hey, I have this, let me give, a couple of dirhams to that person, put a couple of dirhams in my pocket, a couple of dirhams to that person, a couple of dirhams. So when we think about this, the heart of Islamic economics, what is at the heart of it? It's not that, when we speak about these qualities of strengthening your iman and your taqwa, having this kind of business ethics that is greater than any other business ethics out there, Because somebody also say that, well, if I've done my MBA, there's a whole list of business ethics. And also, one of the part of the business ethics, they say, oh, well, yeah, give also. Most businesses say, oh, hey, we have this, we give back to the community. We give to nonprofits. But that giving is with a sense that, oh, well, as long as it doesn't hurt our bottom line, then we'll give. As long as we still can make a profit, that we're marking everything up like extremely high, so people are overpaying for things, but we'll give as long as it doesn't bankrupt. As long as we're not eating too much into our revenue. As long as we can still pay our CEO millions and millions of dollars. We're good, we're fine. And give it so that also we can get some tax break as well. But it's not giving with this idea and concept in mind. It's not giving, or even just part of Islamic business ethics. I just want to share this with you before we get to it. Part of Islamic business ethics, just so that we'll understand that it needs that strength of Iman. And of course, we can say that maybe perhaps the modern world as well may change a certain dynamics about it. But part of the business ethics that we have in the riwayat of Ahlul Bayt, and also written in the books of Ahkam, or at least of our earlier scholars, that one of the things which is reprehensive, makruh, that shouldn't be done. That a person should not start their business, tijara, before sunrise. Why is this? Because it is allowing for each individual to do what? To make ibadah, make their fajr. And when they make their fajr, again, this is one of the secrets of also the Islamic economics. When you make your fajr, to stay up and make dua from that time of fajr until sunrise. He said that this is one of the moments where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives rizq to His ibadah. And how to access that rizq. We mentioned yesterday, what is the key to that rizq? Alhamdulillah. Praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of those moments is after Fajr until sunrise. The dua in that moment, subhanallah. That for rizq is amazing. Another moment is, again, right before the time of Maghrib, as the sun is setting. Another moment of dua, that the du'as are mustajab. And especially for sustenance and rizq. And you see that in these moments that it's recommended that, put your stuff to the side, or don't start your work before sunrise. But mashallah, we have the graveyard shift, we have the early morning opening shift that mashallah, some people have to go in before even Fajr starts, and they have to open up the doors and get everything prepped, the machines prepped. And then maybe sometimes some folks doing this, they miss their salah. I have to make sure all the equipment is ready. It's like, okay, well, you started before salah. Salah just come in. And salah now is going. At least take that moment to make the salah. Even if there's certain dynamics where, okay, well, sure, here we can't, we have the graveyard shift, or we have that early morning shift. But don't be heedless of making salat to Allah, praying to Allah. And this is one of the things that, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, that if you're grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we will increase you in your sustenance. We will increase you in whatever blessing and ni'mah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to offer. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So, a few points I want to make. Again, first, that donation and gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by also donating to causes for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of these increases one's wealth and one's sustenance. The next thing I want to, or at least a point I want to make for today, that also what is at the core of Islamic economics? And this is a very practical aspect. And that is, again, after having Iman or taqwa, understanding the business ethics of Islam, again, creating positive religious economics, then one should understand the aspects of constructive cooperation, or what is considered like shaykh, to go into partnerships and create these partnerships with one another. But the ummah should be those who are, again, developing businesses. Shirka also in Arabic also means a business, a factory, develop these things. But more importantly, partnership with one another. This is one of the interesting things we're talking about today with some brothers as well. That again, you have a few of the young believers, mu'mineen, mu'minat, as well, that they may be graduating. And sometimes, and I heard this again, because I heard from one of the youth, they said, oh, well, in this particular sector, there's a there's a hiring freeze. It's not happening. Not only is there's a hiring freeze, but a lot of people getting a pink slip and this and that. Muslims, the mu'mineen, how come we don't establish our own companies? Partnership with one another. Or these young folks, if we have businesses ourselves, bring these young folks into our business. Maybe have them as an apprentice, show them the way. And what is even worse at times, again, this is part of reality, because Muslims are not, again, thinking in terms of Islamic economics. Their whole model of economics is based on a non-Islamic model of economics. Oh, well, we studied the MBA and this prestigious school here and England or America, this and that, and you get your business structure from there. So it is all about the competition. Well, you know what? I have to run my business such that, you know what? I beat out all of my competitors to make sure that I leave no room for competition. And why is this? Because there's no tawakkul on Allah. There's no reliance on Allah. I think that whatever we get and whatever we earn is simply by my own efforts. And this is what Tha'laba, he thought. Comes time to give zakat. It's like, oh, no. Why give zakat? Because I built all of this. And when we have this mindset, and we see it all around us, the big companies eat up all the small companies. We have to push them out of business. Why? So that only this one company stands. Everybody else, they have to sit in. They have to capitulate. Islamic economics, if we are truly following that model, then we understand that, you know what? Whatever I do, there's going to be competition. It's not a problem. But I'm going to do it with ethics. In fact, if there's a Muslim brother who's doing the same business, I can help them. I can help them out in their business. And it's not going to hurt my business. Why? Because whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the risk that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained for that person, he's going to get. Whatever the risk that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set for me to get, I grew up here. And, we do have a couple of stores. You may have two different type of grocery stores, and sometimes the qualities of the things is so different here. There's a slight difference. On one corner, we see this now. On one corner you have a CVS, one corner you have Walgreens. Pretty much almost the same thing. But then they have some, particular things, the CVS brand, maybe one price, and the other brand is the Walgreens brand. Almost identical things, but they're going to vary in price. So when I went overseas, and I saw these stores. I'll just use this example because in Kuwait, one of the stores that you'll find a lot is the Suhan store. It's a sweet. And so you go on this block, And for almost a block and a half, 2 blocks, every single store is a Suhan store. And you think, SubhanAllah, how are they making money? They're all selling, these 14 stores in a row, all selling the exact same thing. You go in, the prices are almost the exact same price. So, if we're thinking with a Western, that doesn't seem like a very smart business model. It's like, how are these guys, it's like too much competition on one block. 14, 20 stores, all the exact same. You're like, what? But when you think about it in terms of Islamic economics, most people, they know that, well, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for me to have my risk, I'm going to get my risk. That person is going to get his risk. And at times as well, and these are some true stories, that if that individual, if the believers, their model and understanding of Islamic economics is very good, then they understand that, you know what, and this has happened, that, one store, for the whole day that no one has come there. And so one shop owner, he knows the other guy. So someone comes, they want to buy from him. He's like, no, you can't buy this from me. The person's like, but you have it right here. He's like, no, don't buy it from me. I'm not going to sell it. It's not for sale. You know what's for sale at? Other store over there. Go over there and buy. So you're thinking, hey, what you're selling is the exact same thing you're selling. Why can't I buy it from there? So no, you go over there and sell it. Because all day I've had business, no one is going to believe to buy it. Go buy it from them. Go buy it from that person. So that individual can have risk. It's not this dog-eat-dog world that's, again, the business model here is that, crush every other company that is your competitor. But no one thinks about, what those people working, they have to eat, and they have to live, they have to, oh, no, okay, well, we'll eat them up, their company. Maybe they can work for us, maybe. Because that's also not a guarantee either, that when they buy out the other company, that all of those employees that they're going to hire them. They're going to give them a job. That's not guaranteed. So that business model is flawed. That economic model is flawed. It has no trust upon Allah. So that interaction, and this is part of that concept of Islamic economics when it comes to cooperation and building these type of businesses where the believers, they are helping each other, they're empowering each other. And they do so by what is good. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, He says, Ta'awunu 'alal birri wa taqwa. Wa la ta'awunu 'alal ithmi wal 'udwan. So help one another, interact with one another based on righteousness and based on taqwa, God consciousness. And not based on sin and things which are wrong. I'll give you one very beautiful example of this, where, again, the camaraderie and the cooperation with one another on something that's wrong is detrimental to the society. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He speaks about this in Surah Al-A'raf, verse 163. And this is about Bani Israel. It said that on the Sabbath, again, this is a group that they live close to the coast. And they were all like fishermen. And so, based on the law, again, on the Sabbath, they can't work. They're not supposed to work. But outside the Sabbath, you go and earn your livelihood. So this town of fishermen, one thing that they notice that as they're walking to their synagogue, they're walking to their place of worship, they notice that, there's a lot of fish. They come right up to the shore on the Sabbath. The day that we're not supposed to work, the day that we're supposed to designate exclusively to ibadah. Again, that Sabbath is like our Jummah, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives us that rukhsah. He says, look, leave your work, come to Jum'ah, come to prayer, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ, we mentioned that yesterday. And then Salah is over, go back into the world. Make your earning, make your living, and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and seek the fadl, seek the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But on the Sabbath for Bani Israel, no work. Just ibadah. So Reuben, these fishermen, they noticed, like, subhanAllah, you know, the rest of the week, we have to get on our boats, and we have to go out to sea, and we have to try to catch these fish. But I'm sorry, they all come to shore. It's like, why are we breaking our back to go out every day and go catch a few and not? It's just, they're all right here. So they agreed to help one another. That on the Sabbath, everyone says, you know what? Let's make our lives easy. Let's work together and let's swoop up all these fish. Swoop up all these fish. So they did. In disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not supposed to do this. So they swoop up the fish. And like, we've hit the jackpot. And it was easy. Because every day they're out there, we have to go out, they're coming to us. So they swoop up the fish, they sell them, make money. And then finally when they finish selling their fish for the market, then you notice on the Sabbath, there are no fish. Okay, well, no problem. Well, on our usual day, we'll go back out. And so since this Sabbath, they didn't come out. So then they go out to sea, to find fish. Nothing. Next thing, nothing. Why? What disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed that ni'mah and that blessing. So when we work together, when we help one another, when we empower one another, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-birri wa taqwa, then we prosper. We prosper. One aspect of cooperation, I'll move on to the next. One aspect, and also one advice, something practical to do as well. So, one is business ethics within Islam. They said that if there comes a time where people are in hardships and people need something, then I can use this example. I'll use another example. So during COVID, as we had some shortages of things, everybody was running out buying one of the commodities, and you see that there's nothing on the shelf. But we'll use a better example. Bread. So if there's a shortage of bread, not paper, but there's a shortage of bread. It says that if this is the case, then a person shouldn't go and grab all of those things. Or if you have a store, you have something, and people are in need of it. I mean, especially those people who may not have enough funds to kind of buy something that is a necessity within the society. So within Islam, it says, don't sell it. What does it mean, don't sell it to them? It doesn't mean you keep it for yourself and hold it. Don't sell it to them. Give it to them. Why? Because it's a need. You're working together to help each other out in this crisis. But what happens on the normal business model that, there's a crisis. Guess what? Let's jack up the prices 20%. 20% increase. Why? Because people need this. They have no choice. They're going to buy it. Even if you jack up the price 40%, they're going to buy it. Islam says, no, don't do that. Don't jack up the price. Why? Because this is something that people need. It's the wrong model. And this is why society is suffering. This is why the world is suffering. It's the wrong business model. It's the wrong type of economics. So we talked about making partnerships, helping one another. So one of the they gave advice. They said that, look, if you have a business or even owning your business, whatever you're doing. But especially if you're running your own business, he said that going into partnership, quite often it helps a person, right? Because you're not dealing only with your own capital. Somebody else is putting their capital in. He said, here's one of the secrets of gaining in a business that you establish. He said, even if you take one partner, who's the partner that you should make in that business? Imam Hussein. And this is really advice that one of the Imam gave to the person who says, I started this business and it's going okay. It's not, it could be better. So he found them. So I told him, he says, make Imam Hussein al-Islam your partner in this business. So he says, what do you mean by that? How do you become my partner? He says, listen, a partner shares in your profit, does he not? So either it's a business 50-50, business 80-20, business 90-10, so 10% of the profit is, or 90% of this profit is for you, 10% is for your partner. So it's making Imam Hussein your partner. And how do you do that? So it's that you decide that, okay, if my stake in this business is 90% of the profit, great, no problem. 10% for Imam Hussein, then you take your 90%. He says, and that 10%, he says, you make sure that you cut it off and don't cheat your partner. In other words, don't cheat Imam Hussein. Meaning that 10% you put away, you put to the side, for what? For the dhikr and the majlis of Imam Hussein, for the remembrance of Imam Hussein. He says, and if you do this, that business that you're doing will prosper. Why? Because you have the best partner now. But because what partner doesn't want that business that he's a part of, that he has a stake in, wants to see it fail? That partner is going to want to see the success of that business. So you want to establish the best business, make your partner Imam Hussein al-Islam. And some have even said, make your partner Imam Zaman Rajab. That's something practical you can do. So, making alliances, the ummah empowering each other, working together to establish a strong financial basis. And it can be done. It can be done. Quite often we do it when it comes to, hey, you need to build a center. We'll do this Friday. But when it comes to, we have this person in the community, let's help this person out. Let's start a business. Because this person, when they start a business with him, what is he going to do? He's going to give back to the community. But the model that we run on now, if we're not using the Islamic economic, it's all selfish. But, hey, I make this money, and I'm making this much money, and I have this status, I have this class. There's no concept of partnership with others to make the entire community prosper. So actually look at the clock, so maybe I may have a little sense of lost track of time. But nonetheless, we'll get through this quickly. So the next thing in Islamic economics that we can practically do is can avoid haram income. But we make sure that our income is halal. That whatever we are engaged in, whatever we're doing, that this source of income is halal. It's very important. That it's not something where it's a ghasb, that we've taken it wrongfully from someone, we've taken some capital, we've done whatever with it. One of the questions, and this is interesting because I have a very beautiful story. Because almost every year, this is one of the questions we get. Scholars get this question. If I can tell you how many times it was, can we work at a gas station? Can we work at this place? They're selling alcohol. And again, the outcome is here. sometimes a person is in a situation where, yeah, they have no other option. They rent out, and so you're in a position that, if I don't do this, I won't be able to take care of myself. You have that situation. Those type of moments, which they call a secondary ruling. So, for example, I'll give you one of the extreme secondary rulings. It's haram to eat pork, is it not? But if you're in a situation that you're about to starve and there's nothing else to eat but what? A pig? Then guess what? You have to eat the pig. Barbecue it or whatever you gotta do to it, but you gotta eat it to save your life. Certain jobs as well, the same thing. That if I don't do this, I will not be able to survive. So you have to do it. And we shouldn't be like, oh, well, I'm just going to do this because, hey, I like to do it. I want to do this. Oh, there's good money in this. Make sure that the income is low. So the story, this is a true story. When I was in Qom, there was one brother who came from Australia. So, beautiful.
Do you want daughter food?
And he came to Qom to study. He was there for some time.
You want it?
This brother, prior to coming to Qom, he actually ran 2 gas stations in Australia. But his gas station was unique. Why was this gas station unique? He didn't sell any alcohol or pork products in the gas station. This was something unheard of. In fact, he had made this contract with the gas station, the franchise. He says, look, because when you get into a franchise, you buy into the franchise. You got to give so much money up. So he made this contract with him. He says, look, he says, I'm gonna buy into the franchise. Because first he told him, he says, listen, I'm Muslim. He says, and we can't sell alcohol or pork. So with the company directors, they were like, no. He was like, so no. Just give me a second. He says, I'm going to give you a proposition. So hear me out. And let's write up this contract. And he started. He says, I want to buy into your franchise. Of course, I think there's a window of time that when you buy into the franchise, that if you don't really want to continue, you can pull out with saving a good chunk of your investment. You have this window. So he says, look, I'm going to buy into this franchise. And my condition is that I'm not going to sell alcohol or pork. And the second condition is that, look, this window of time that we have, is if I decide that I don't want to do it anymore, I'm not going to see any of my money. You just keep it all. So the company was like, well, for us, it's a win-win because we don't think he's going to make it. Not selling beer is the biggest seller of this, this gas station. So he goes into business. Not selling pork, any pork byproducts, anything, not even any chips that has pork byproducts. Nothing. And any of the conduits, things that he's selling cannot have anything which is not halal. Within about 3 or 4 months of him going into this business, this gas station, that his gas station was outselling all the other gas stations. Even the corporation was like, this doesn't make any sense. They said, doesn't make any sense. So they kept watching. And sure enough, by the end of that cycle, he stayed into the business. By the end of the cycle that year, his profits was about double, or at least 1.5, than stores that had been open for 10 years that they had. And they were like, how is this possible? So the first quarter of the second year, again, they see it and his profits are still on top. So they come to him and says, you know what? We have this gas station over here that's struggling. Yeah, they're barely making a profit. They're making some, but they're the weakest store of our chain. Can you go and manage that store? Can you go and manage that store? So he told him, he says, well, if you want me to manage that store, then you have to get rid of all of the alcohol and all of the pork. And they were like, yeah, we don't want to do it. He says, then I'm not going to manage it. He says, in fact, here's what I want to do. He says, give me another store. I'll go put another store somewhere else. My same condition stands. No alcohol, no pork. Again, he opened a second store. And again, with those two stores, they were outselling all the other stores. And they couldn't believe it. They were like, how's this happening? And one day they asked him, he says, look, he says, I believe in God. I believe in God. And God tells us to do certain things and not to do certain things. He says, and when we do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bless us. He says, so this is a blessing from God. He says, when we disobey God, then we won't have that blessing. He says, my store will probably be average like anyone else. But because of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this is the result. So, and so this is the last point on Islamic economics. And this is one of the things that is recommended within Islam. And a person who wants to, again, to increase their wealth, increase their financial situation, is to give what is called Qarul al-Hasanah. Qarul al-Hasanah, if we translate it literally, means like a good loan, a goodly loan. Or you say a notable loan, sounds better. So what is a Qarul al-Hasanah? The idea of Qarul al-Hasanah is that you loan a person a money, someone you need. And that need can be for whatever. Maybe it's a person who wants to start a business. Maybe it's a person, yes, who is in financial difficulty, which is mostly the case. And so you give them that loan, and that loan is, again, with the intention, it's a loan. It's not a handout. So on one hand, and as some of the ulama, they say that this Qarul al-Hasanah is this, what is the barakah of this? And just so that we understand, and we're not going to go through all of these particular points, but they say that when we look at the ahkam, when we look at the rights of Ahlul Bayt and Islam, there, again, we know that sadaqah is, to give sadaqah, charity is good, correct? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He rewards that. And within the riwayat, there's 10, you could say, blessings or noble aspects of giving charity, sadaqah. But for Qarul al-Hasanah, there are 18. Why is that? Is it because Qarul al-Hasanah, on one hand, the person that receives that notable loan, it maintains their dignity. You're not giving them a handout. They understand that, oh, hey, this is a loan, and I have to pay back this loan. So that means that I have to work and I have to make effort to start paying back this loan. And with that Qarul al-Hasanah as well, they can look and pay back that. But Qarul al-Hasanah is one of those loans that even the person who's giving the loan, at one point, he may decide, you know what, I'm going to turn this loan into something, or actually forgive the loan, or part of the loan. I should be part of it. Yes, they can get the whole loan back. And sometimes this happens that, oh, well, I gave this Qarul al-Hasanah, this person's learning, they paid off this loan, and I'll take that money again and give it as Qarul al-Hasanah to someone else. And they will begin to pay the loan back, and oh, I see that, they're honest and they're trying to pay it back, but they're having some difficulties. Okay, you know what? The rest of that loan, half of it, 1/4 of the loan, we're forgetting. No problem. Doing this increases a person's wealth exponentially. And guess what? It's not based on the riwayat of ahadith. It's based on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He states in Surah Baqarah, verse 245. And read this verse. 245 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يُقْرِضُ اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا فيضاعفه له أضعافا كثيرة. It says that who will give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a noble loan? In other words, you're helping the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying? Is when you have that qarad al-hasana, though you're giving it to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're giving it to a mu'min. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, this is a loan for me. You're giving me this loan. But what's even more amazing about this, as the ulama, as they commentate, they give commentary of this verse, and part of that commentary is based on one of the hadith al-Qudsi, a discussion between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Rasulullah, He says, Ya Rasulullah, He says, Dunyaya qaradun ila ibadi. He says that, you want to understand, what is the reality of this world? Every single thing that we have, the clothes we hold, our cars, our houses, our laptops, our computer, whatever we have in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's telling Rasulullah, He says, this is my loan to my creation, my servants. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking, and which one of you will loan me what I loaned you? This is the meaning of this verse. Which one of you will give this qarad al-hasana to me? In other words, to help my servant, the one who is in need. And the one who understands it, and the one who does this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we will يضاعفه له أضعافا كثيرة. He doesn't even specify, but أضعافا كثيرة. First of all, أضعافا is a plural. That's manyfold, 100-fold, 70-fold, 1,000 times. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will pay you back. He will give that back to you. By loaning Allah. So when you loan a servant, don't think that, I'm going to loan this person, and no, you're loaning it to Allah. And you're saying, Ya Allah, this is the qarad al-hasana, I'm giving this qarad al-hasana. Yes, this servant may pay it back, but you know what? Allah, I know that it's a loan to you, and you're going to pay it back. Whatever this person pays back is going to be whatever I've given you. But in addition to that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to take it. And I just want to end with this one piece of this very beautiful hadith from Imam Jafar al-Sadiq and Jafar al-Sadiq. Where the Imam, he gives us, he says, look, basically 4 du'as from the Quran, because we may look at this model of Islamic economics and we think, and we discuss this. SubhanAllah, if we're in this way, that can we really rely on others in that way? That if I've gone into business with someone, this person may fool me, they may trick me. Maybe so. And some people have been burnt, and they think that next time someone comes and asks me for something, I'm going to think twice. In fact, even I know a real scenario like this where one person says that, I've loaned money to this person, they want to do this business, that business, you know what? No one ever paid me back. I got burnt. And this is a true story. This is, I'm not going to say any names because I don't want, hopefully those who listen, they don't know who I'm talking about. But anyway, so this is among the Muhajir and Ansar on Mu'min brother who is from here, one Mu'min brother who migrated here. So this brother who migrated here, he gave to this, again, he's been burnt, this Muslim. So then this brother from here, he says, I'm going to start this business, give me this loan. So he's thinking twice. He says, okay, subhanAllah, I'm engaged. Alhamdulillah, brothers. He gives it to him. And this is the first brother who ever paid him back. Not only paid him back, but then he was so appreciative because in that business transaction, he made good money. He paid him back and then he gifted him an extra 100,000, 200,000. And his brother was like, subhanAllah. He's like giving so many people things and no one's ever paid him back. He was almost scared to get, but then this person came around and he was like, okay, yeah, well, I see this brother's doing it. So let me take this chance. He took the chance. But Imam Sadiq, again, the Ahlul Bayt are very practical and pragmatic. So if one finds himself in that situation, they're hesitant as well. Imam Sadiq says, I'm surprised that for people that when they're fleeing from something, that they don't flee towards 4 things. They're fleeing from 4 things, and they should flee towards these 4 things. And those 4 things that one should flee towards is making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he says that person who is in fear, has fear. Not fear of whatever. Going into business with someone. Doing this transaction, loaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that qaradu hasana, that we have this. So Imam Sadiq, he says, then why don't they flee towards this statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us in the Quran? Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to Imam Sadiq, he says, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says after this that when a person makes his dua, someone calls upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gives them and blesses them with his ni'mah and fadl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases that person. So we have fear of stepping out into this realm where, trying to practice Islamic economics. So hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah will increase the blessing. If someone, whether it has something to do with Islamic economics or not, it could, that's a gham. So sometimes you may get depressed that, I've been burnt so many times. So Imam Sadiq said, why don't you flee to the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this dua that we learn, La ilaha illa ant, subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. That there's no God but you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and glory be to you, that I was a person who was in the dark. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will remove you from that heavy burden that you may be feeling. Or if a person thinks that, I've been burnt so many times. This next person is going to burn me too, he has some sort of deception. So if you fear deception, Imam Sadiq says, how come they don't flee to this idea? وَفَوْضِ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ وَفَوْضِ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will actually expose that deception to you. I'm going to stay aside here. SubhanAllah, it works. I've actually seen it nice and personal. But if you fear something or you have 100 something, recite this. وَفَوْضِ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. In your community, any chance you get, وَفَوْضِ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. And subhanAllah, that if that person does not have good intentions, it's going to be exposed. And this is something like I said, I've seen it. I've experienced it. So if you fear that, then recite that. And lastly, as Imam Sadiq, he says, for that person who wants the dunya, again, be that ascetic, zahid, that, okay, I'm not clamped down or held down by this dunya. If I have it, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses me, I said, alhamdulillah, I said, it's a responsibility as well. And if I have it, I'm not going to be over happy, over excited that I forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or if I don't have it, I'm not going to be sad and be upset with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh, Allah, how come you didn't give me this, Allah? I've been making dua first. So Imam says a person who wants that thing, then why don't they make this dua? Ma sha Allah la quwwata illa billah. Ma sha Allah la quwwata illa billah. That when one makes this dua, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that person khayra. Khayra, meaning from His Spirit. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will give. So inshallah, we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to guide us by the wisdom of His Quran and the wisdom of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad alayhi wa salatu wasalam. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, this is the month of Rajab, month of dua. A month that, again, one of the things, yes, we pray istighfar, and we should ask for istighfar, but the last advice that some of the ulama has given, he said that one of the things that we should also ask for from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to increase our capacity to receive His blessing. Rabbi shrah li sadri. And this is also one of the du'as of Rasulullah, that, oh Allah, accept my salat, accept my du'a. Washrah sadri. To increase my capacity to receive your ni'mah, your blessing. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to also increase our capacity. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins, cover our shortcomings. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on the deceased ones. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give cure to those who are ill among our friends and family members. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us a need. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of Imam Zaman, to hasten his reappearance, to make us among his helpers and companions and those who sacrifice the life. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. رب اشرح لي صدري واغفر ذنوبي واستر عيوبي وقضي حوائجنا واشفي مرضانا ورحم امواتنا وعجل الفرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان واجعلنا من اعوانك وانصاره والمستشفعين بين يديه وتحت لواء بحق محمد واله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا رحمة للعالمين، السلام عليك يا علي بن طالب يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام على الحسن والحسين سيد شباب أهل الجنة أجمعين، السلام عليك يا علي الحسين زين العابدين، السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي باقر النبيين، السلام عليك يا جعفر بن محمد الصادق، السلام عليك يا موسى بن جعفر علي الكاذب، السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا، السلام عليك يا محمد بن علي تقي الجواد، السلام عليك يا محمد الهادي النقي، السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي الزكي العسكري، السلام عليك يا ابن حسن مولانا صاحب الزمان العمان الزمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان، السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان، الله تعالى فرجك وأصلح لك مقدر ظهورك وجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك وأشيائك، السلام عليك يا بقية الله في أرضه، السلام عليك يا أهل بيت النبوة ومعادن الرسالة جميعهم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على محمد.